Allah the Father of the universe.
Allah the Father of the universe.
The Father of love.
The Father of love.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My God.
My God.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night. And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Through Ali.
Amen.
Amen. Remain standing. If you're ready.
Islam.
First I give praise to Allah.
First I give praise to Allah,
The great God of the universe.
the great God of the universe.
I give honor to his holy divine prophet.
And give honor to his holy and divine prophet,
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali,
The founder of the Moorish Scientific of America.
the founder of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to the foreground to the prophet.
I give honor to the forerunners of the prophet,
Brother Marcus Garvey.
Brother Marcus Garvey.
I give honor to all true and divine prophets.
I give honor to all true and divine prophets,
Jesus.
Muhammad,
Buddha.
Confucius,
Etc.
etc.
I give honor to the past supreme grand advisor and moderator of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to the past Supreme Grand Advisor and moderator of the Moorish Scientific of America,
Brother C. Kirkman Bay.
Brother C. Kirkman Bay,
Brother F. Nelson Bay.
Brother F. Nelson Bay,
And Brother J. Blakely Bay.
and Brother J. Blakely Bay.
I give honor to the former Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to the former Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Scientific of America,
Brother R. Lovell.
Brother I love you.
I give honor to our present Grand Sheikh, who is the moderator of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to our present Grand Sheikh, who is the moderator of the Moorish Scientific of America,
Brother R. Jones Bay.
Brother R. Jones Bay.
I give honor to the Assistant Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to the Assistant Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Scientific of America,
Brother P. Chase Hill.
Brother P. Chase Hill.
I give honor to the Grand National Secretary of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to the Grand National Secretary of the Moorish Scientific of America,
Sister I. Morbay.
Sister I. Morbay.
I give honor to the Financial Secretary of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to the Financial Secretary of the Moorish Scientific of America,
Sister T. Potter Bay.
Sister T. Potter Bay.
I give honor to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to the Grand Governor of Washington, D.C.
I give honor to the Grand Governor of Washington, D.C.,
Brother H. Harris Bay.
Brother H. Harris Bay,
And to his assistant.
to his assistant,
Brother T. Gaither Hill.
Brother T. Gaither Hill.
I give honor to all sheikhs and members of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to all sheikhs and members of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to all auxiliaries of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to all auxiliaries of the Moorish Scientific of America.
I give honor to the American flag.
I give honor to the American flag,
The Moorish flag.
the Moorish flag,
And to our charter.
and to our charter.
I give honor to everything that the prophet brought
I give honor to everything the prophet brought
for the uplifting of fallen man.
for the uplifting of fallen man.
I give honor to man.
I give honor to man.
Peace.
Peace.
Salvation of God unity. The Moorish Scientific of America. The divine constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the chairman of the Moorish Scientific of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Scientific of America. The assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known for the members of the Moorish Scientific of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man born in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh, and ascended to his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is a holy day for all marvels all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Scientific of America. No member to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister or any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister Allah's love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. Because being in Moorish America, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Scientific of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey and abide. Act 6. But first, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians. Because these names were given to slaveholders in 1779, and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from the sinful ways. The Moorish American are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabits the northwest and southwestern shores of Africa. At 7, all members must properly attend their meetings and become a part, any partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Zion Temple of America. Members must pay their dues to keep an eye on the necessities of the Moorish Zion Temple of America. Then you are tied to a name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of all of humanity. All Moorish Americans keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali through the God and Father God Allah. Noble Drew Ali founder, Moorish American prayer. Allah the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his Holy Prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. The Moorish Zion Temple of America, home office 2905 5th Street, Southeast, Washington, D.C. 20032. That's where I read from the Divine Constitution Bible. Now I'd like to have a reading from the questionnaire and additional law for the Moorish American by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheiks and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Before acting upon by any members, let it be financed property or any line like of cause the members to sacrifice, finance, etc. that will cause the support of any group of members. Any form of offer to violate these laws is subject to be removed from its office under restriction established by the Prophet of the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend at meetings and at public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around a meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second he'll be fined $1, which will go to your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid. And if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Investment Fund, because it's state finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty to every good member, if he is able to finance to aid me and save the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people and justice not kept you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And as is how the best of my hands, I will have to support the Lord in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radically to the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm up to the questionnaire, and that every member exercise 5 since the school able to do so, because offering Sunday school can be guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish American are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shore of Africa. Act 7. All members must properly attend their meetings and become a part, any parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Zion Temple. Members must pay their dues to keep an eye on the necessities of the Moorish Zion Temple. Then you are entitled to a name of faith. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. this divine covenant and from the holy prophet Noble Ali Group, the God, Father, God, Allah. Thus I read from the question and additional all seven acts. Now I'd like to read from the Holy Quran of the Most High of America, divinely said by Noble Prophet, Prophet Noble Ali. I'd like to read 25, page 35. The Holy Covenant of the Aztec Nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breath of one mother forgive you suck. That the bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with thy brother, that peace and happiness dwell in thy father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relation that binds you to love and unity, but prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, save her not. So shall the forces of thy father contribute to support his whole race, and his care be continued to you all and your love to each other. Peace.
Peace.
Islam.
Islam.
I'd like to welcome all out to our Sunday school, as I've read, offering Sunday school from God of the nation. I pray, Lord, that we have a good Sunday school day. We've been instructed by the Grand Secret with the moderator of the Most High to the America of our John Bay. Pray everybody feeling well tonight. Feeling okay. Anybody need letters, you can raise your hand up to assist you. Need some water, raise your hand up to assist you. Is there anybody downstairs need to come up? You know the same stuff. God bless us with a nice day today. Always good to learn about ourselves. Sunday school divide us up a little bit. Sunday school. Again, we want everybody to double check the cell phones on the cell phones going on the course of our meeting. So before I call out Grand Secret moderator up to instruct us, we're going to have a moment of silent meditation. Islam.
Islam.
Well, first, I'd like to call for the Grand Secret with the moderator of the Most High to our Merkabah John Bay to instruct our sons.
Islam.
Islam.
All right.
is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, throughout thee. Amen.
Praise the Lord. Okay. Who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where is the nearest place we can meet him?
In the heart.
Who is Noble Drew Ali?
He is Allah's prophet.
What is a prophet?
A prophet is the thought of Allah manifested in the flesh,
What is the duty of a prophet?
to save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Drew Ali,
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913
Where?
AD, Newark, New Jersey.
Where was Noble Drew Ali born?
In the state of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish
What
American.
is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish American?
Because we are descendants of Moroccans born in America.
For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
For the uplifting of fallen humanity.
How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish American?
By teaching them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islamism.
Is that a new or is that the old time religion?
Old time religion.
What kind of a flag is the Moorish?
There's a red flag with 5-pointed green star in the center.
What do the 5 points represent?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
How old is our flag?
It is over 10,000 years old.
Which is our holy day?
Friday.
Why?
Because Friday is the day on which man was formed in the flesh. Because on Friday we departed out of flesh.
Who was Jesus?
He was the prophet of Allah.
Where was he born?
In Bethlehem of Judah, in the house of David.
Who were his father and mother?
Joseph and
You
Mary.
give in brief the line genealogy through which Jesus came.
Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph by Mary.
Why did Allah send Jesus to this earth?
To save the Israelites from the hand oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time.
How long has that been?
About 2,000 years ago.
What was the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was a Moabite.
What is the modern name for Moabite?
Morocco.
Where's the Moroccan Empire?
Northwest Mexico.
What is the modern name for Mexico?
Africa.
What is the title given to our ruler Morocco?
Sultan.
Where do we get the name Jesus?
From the east.
What does the name Jesus mean?
Jesus means
Did
justice.
the angel give to the child that was called Jesus a holy name?
Yes, but it cannot be used by those who are slaves to sin.
What is an angel?
An angel is the thought of Allah manifested in human flesh.
What are angels used for?
To carry a message to the four corners of the world to all nations.
Okay, what are angels used for?
To carry a message to the four corners of the world to all
What
nations.
is our prophet to us?
He is an angel of Allah who is sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah.
What is the everlasting gospel?
It is the saving power that comes from Allah through our ancient fathers by his prophet.
What is the covenant of the great God Allah?
Honor thy father and thy mother, that their days may belong upon the earth land which the Lord thy God Allah has given thee.
At what age did Jesus begin to teach?
At the age of 12,
Where did he teach?
India, Africa, and
How
Europe,
long did he teach?
18 years.
What did Jesus say that would make you free?
Truth.
What is truth?
Truth is all.
What is all?
All is Allah.
Can truth change?
Truth cannot change or pass away.
What other name do we give to truth?
Holy Grail.
What have you to say about Holy Grail?
All we can say it is great, it is good, it was, it is, and evermore to be. Amen.
At what place on earth was the physical part of man formed?
In the Garden of Eden,
Where is the Garden of Eden?
in the land of Canaan, and the city of Mecca.
What is the modern name for the Garden of Eden?
Mecca.
What is the name of the first physical man?
His name cannot be used only by executive rulers of the AC of the MST of A.
What are the words of AC of MST of A?
Adopt chamber of the Moorish Science Temple of America, 3rd Avenue.
Who were Adam and Eve?
They are the mothers and the fathers of the human family, Asiatics and Muslims.
Where did they go?
They went into Asia.
What is the modern name given to their children?
Asiatics.
Who is guarding the holy city of Mecca today to keep the unbelievers away?
Angels.
What is the modern name for those angels?
Asiatics.
What is the shade of their skin?
Olive.
Are the Moorish Americans any relations of those angels?
Yes, we all have the same father and mother.
Give 5 names that are given to the descendants of Adam and Eve.
Lucifer, Satan, devil, the dragon, and beast.
What is the devil sometimes called?
The lower self.
How many cells are there?
2.
Name them.
Higher self and lower self.
What people represent the higher self?
The angels who protect the holy city of Mecca.
What people represent the lower self?
Those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teaching.
What is the higher self?
The higher self, the mother of virtues and harmonies of life, who breeds justice, mercy, love, and right.
Can the higher self pass away?
No.
Why?
Because it is Allah and man.
How does Allah and man? How does Allah and man reveal himself to you? Because Allah and man is Allah and who?
You.
Is in who?
That's
You. It's in everyone. How does he how does he let you know he's there? Sister Gaithy,
When he's showing us the best that's in us,
when he's showing us the best in us. Okay, that's good. That's good, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. When he shows us the best in us, that's good. What else? Come on.
By your words, actions, and deeds.
By your words, actions, and deeds. That's good. Come on.
By having a conscience.
By doing what?
Having a conscience.
By having a conscience. Now that's interesting. By having a conscience.
Like, knowing like what's right, what's wrong.
I hear you. I hear that. I can hear that. I can hear that. Brother Crawford.
Yes, sir. I say, by the breath, by the breath,
By the breath.
and by, just him allowing us to, go in this state that you call sleepness and bring us out of that. In other words, waking us up.
You know, sleep is a primary condition of the physical man. Sleep does not exist in the spiritual world.
Yeah.
This is only done here. You know what I mean? But I can understand him waking us up. I can understand
And
that.
allowing us to breathe, inhale and exhale.
Yes. Yeah.
Breath.
Yeah. But you know, sleep and being awakened is primarily associated with health.
Okay.
Because see, if you're unhealthy and your body shuts down, you will reawaken, but it won't be here. See what I'm saying? That's the only reason I'm trying to bring this to your attention is because I don't want you to associate sleep, physical sleep, with spiritual being.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that because sleep don't overtake Allah. So
You hear me?
yeah,
You
yeah.
hear me? Sleep does not overtake it. And if we're spirits and part of him, it really does not overtake us either, except in the body. You know?
So health, you can say health. You can recognize Allah and man through health.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
From a physical, from a physical.
Yeah. You know, Allah is recognized, or he reveals himself to us by way also of expression. He expresses
Oh,
himself.
yes, sir.
So you would have to see, if you would know kindness, don't you think you would have to experience it? Or you'd have to see it expressed? You would have to know that that's really kindness and not the semblance of it. Because see, kindness has a semblance. It has a reflection like everything else down here. But for you to know true kindness, it must be expressed by God. Because there are many who give the impression that they're giving a kind act, but behind it is something that alters it.
Well, so in other words, when we express to one another, that's the Allah.
If it's true.
Right.
If you're doing it sincerely, is Allah expressing himself through you. But remember, the lower self expresses a semblance of kindness. Remember, the lower self always expresses the reflection.
Right.
That's right.
It appears to be kindness, but upon investigation you find out that's not kindness. So he expresses himself, God in you expresses himself in ways that you can recognize that he exists within you. See, if a person is not used to seeing kindness, kindness can be expressed and they won't even recognize it. They'll recognize it as being what? Weakness. That's right.
And also, the attributes.
Okay.
The attributes of God.
Yes. Give me an attribute of God.
Well, you just said kindness is one.
Don't give me kindness.
No, I'm adding to that.
Okay.
Kindness is one.
Okay.
And I would say consideration.
Okay, consideration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or love. Definitely love.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Tell me something else about the expression of God in you. How God expresses himself. Why is it necessary for him to express himself to you? Why do you think it's necessary that he expresses himself to you? Come on, Mom.
So that you can be sure that what has been told to you by the way of the prophet, that it does exist.
Okay.
And one of the things I was thinking about is the vibration. It's the harmony. I think about the highest of the harmony is the mother virtues and the harmonies of life.
That's right.
And it breathes.
That's right.
You receive something when you do something good. You get a feeling.
That's right.
Now that's calling it a feeling that, you know, you receive something.
Yes.
You are uplifted.
Yes.
When you can look at what you have done and see that you have done something in accordance with what the prophet has said you should do. There's an uplifting about that.
Yeah.
And to me, that will be the way, one of the ways that he will express that. You can accomplish these things, and there's a receive, you receive from that. Because it talks about it, when it talks about the law, and it says obedience to his precept
Is what?
is happiness
Okay.
to ourselves.
Okay.
So we receive some type of comfort, some type of happiness,
Okay.
if we're sincerely trying to please
Okay.
our Creator.
Okay. You know, that is called a sensing of harmony.
Praise the Lord.
You sense harmony. You
Praise
walk into the flow of harmony.
Come on. I can hear you.
And in harmony there is what?
Peace.
Peace.
I can hear you.
And if you're peaceful, you're what?
Happy.
Huh? Yes, you're happy.
You're loving.
Loving, that's no question. What else? If in peace there is also what? Contentment.
Mm.
And there, in contentment there is what?
Still.
Say it.
Stillness.
And that's when you hear it. In a still small voice, he speaks. He speaks in your contentment. When you're happy, he speaks. Think about it. If you're angry, you can't hear it. Because you are at odds with yourself.
Mm.
And there is no peace. You cannot hear him unless you are at peace with yourself.
That's right.
Yeah, I can see that more, because when you angry, confusion is involved.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. That's
Some
right.
confusion somewhere there. when you
That's
angry,
right.
yeah.
Even in your discussions or communications with one another, if there's a tinge of anger, if there is a tinge of you wanting to be right, you can't hear it. So if you can't hear him, that means it's going to be a what?
A void.
It's going to be a void. And if there's a void, what is it? What takes place when you are voided from God? Discord. Discord. And discord brings about what? Inharmony. That's right, Ty. Harmony broke up. That's right. That's right. Inharmony. What grows in inharmony?
Hatred.
Hatred. Hatred is in harmony. In harmony, hatred flows. Discord flows in harmony. Each time that you are in a state of inharmony, there is the potential for the flow of hatred to be present. That's why it's very important that you try to get some peace with yourself.
That's right.
And don't enter into situations when you're not at peace. That means that there will be times when you sense that you're not, you need to go into a well. Where do you need to go? Where?
Yeah.
You need to go to the wilderness, but you need to go into self. And then you need to take a what? Examination. That's right. The examination is for the purpose of what?
Nope.
Noting and what else?
Reflection.
Strength, evaluating the strength.
Yes, that's there. But also identification. Let me see if I can identify what's causing the inharmony. Because if you can't identify it,
That's right.
you misdiagnose it. You may extract one thing, but it's not the thing that you need to get rid of.
That's right.
Now, the only way that you can determine or you can identify it, you must have what?
Honesty.
Yes, honesty, no question. No question. But what must you have to identify it?
Understand.
Understanding.
Mm.
That's the gift that comes from a harmonious state. That's why when you feel that you're unbalanced, you need to regain your equilibrium. Thank you. But that's done when you can go into a quiet place. And if that's not a quiet place, then you really have to be practicing, because you're going to have to go into yourself in the midst of a lot of noise.
Mm.
Like John the Baptist did in the marketplace.
Yeah.
He was amongst.
He was in the midst of all those individuals, but he did what? He withdrew where? Into himself. Yeah. Brother Grancy, did I see your hand?
Early on when we were talking about expressing about it.
Oh, go ahead, my brother. Go
One thing
ahead.
I was gonna add this, when you do your duty,
Yes.
duty is an expression of the Allah that's in you.
Yes.
And as the government was just stating, so kindly have to unite that duty to that nation.
That's right.
And then we learn also that it's our duty to be a friend of mankind.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
So our duty is important for us to express the Allah that's in us.
That's right.
Your duty also gives you the opportunity to practice
Yes.
and to show consistency.
Yes. Yes.
And that's how we develop our virtue
Yes. Yes.
when we're being dutiful.
Yes. Yes. How does one, or what must one do to be a friend to mankind? What do you think is required for me to be your friend?
Be friendly.
Mm.
What is necessary for me to be your friend, or for you to be my friend?
You gotta be friendly.
Sir.
Huh?
Realness.
Realness. That's a look. You get that one right here. Right. That's right. Realness. That's right. Truthfulness, no question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Yes, I was looking at the social duties, and it said is that duty to be friend to mankind,
Yeah.
as is their interest, they be
Friendly to thee.
to thee.
Yes.
So I would say it would have to be a mutual. You know, even though I mean, you.
But see, listen what you said. It
Yeah.
has to be mutual.
Mhm.
So that means I'm expecting something in return.
Mhm.
That's knocked you off the box from the honesty.
Right.
See, now you've taken a back step because you're waiting to get something to give you the continued encouragement to pursue it.
It sounds so.
Yes, sir.
And I think he also said it's their interest.
Yes.
He didn't say it, he said that interest.
Yes.
See, it's on you,
Yes.
on both accord.
Yes. 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 Come on, Brother Gino.
My thing to be a friend of individual, you have to be real.
Yeah, Mom.
No phony.
No phonyism.
Be straight up and down.
Be straight up and down.
No.
I know what you're saying. Because you're right. You're right, Mom. You're right. Come on, brother.
Islam. So is it wrong for me to expect of you what I give to you, that honesty, that realness, that loyalty?
Is it what?
Is it wrong
Is it wrong for what?
for me to expect? You said it's wrong for him to take a step back. He's expecting something from that person.
Right.
So should I not expect those same things that I'm giving to you? If I'm giving you loyalty, should I not expect those things in return?
I think that you should give and not worry about it.
That's right.
Because the minute you start expecting it back, your giving is going to be predicated on how much they give or what they give. That's not real.
That's right.
I may not give it to you. But does that mean that I should not give it? Because maybe I'm the one to teach you how to give it. Maybe you've never seen it before. maybe I need to expose you to it. Then maybe once you're exposed, you might say, I like it. But if you never be exposed to it, how would you know? And if you are a type of individual who is waiting for someone to show you and you withdraw, if they don't, then that's an opportunity to expose your brother to something that they may not be familiar with. Come on.
You know, one of the things I think about, brother, is we gotta go back and reevaluate our concept of what a friend is.
That's the truth.
Because along for a while, we only looked at friends as those who we share things with.
Yeah.
And that's not what really a friend is, because once we spend, most of the time, once we stop saying it, or if somehow we don't share no more, normally we disassociate ourselves with it, because it was predicated on things.
Right.
See, but friendship, it goes much deeper than things. I mean, friendship is about a mutual respect towards someone who you would want to, what you would give them, and not look for it in return, but hope that they give it back to you.
Right.
It's just serving humanity for real.
Right.
From my perspective.
Right.
But if I continue to look at it the way I once looked at it a few years ago,
Right.
it's going to be very difficult to find friends.
Right.
Because we're looking for something in return.
Right. You ever encountered somebody, have you ever, when you were growing up, seen somebody that you just like?
Yeah.
Just like,
That you like?
oh yeah.
And you try to get their attention because you
Yeah.
want to be their friend.
Yeah.
And they can be so doggone mean.
Yeah.
They can be mean, but you still, that is still something about you I just like.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? And then at some point in their growth and development as a being that's human, they grow into a point whereas they recognize something that they didn't recognize at the time that you were really trying, and it may be years down the line, and they may walk up to you and say, you know what? I apologize for all that stuff. I just didn't know how to receive.
Yeah.
I thought it was something behind it. See, people we don't know what people go
You
through
better believe
and
it.
put up that wall.
That's what I believe it. You really.
But that can't stop you.
That's right.
That's right.
Because if you don't do it,
Mm.
suppose they leave here in this life without knowing what a true friend is, and you had an opportunity to show them. Are you being a friend? Because if I'm expecting you to give it back and you don't, then I cut you off. Were you really trying to be a friend?
Mm.
You need to examine yourself.
Yeah.
You know, come on, brother God.
Yeah, friendship is very important. So much so that it's telling you one of the first steps to marriage.
That's right.
You know, make her your friend. You know, then your companion.
That's right.
And then,
Yes, that's right.
and then your wife.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that friendship is
Yeah.
it's akin to love, because the pure and heart will love without demanding love in return.
That's right. That's right. See, friendship, like anything else, it has to be established.
Yeah.
You build upon it. But you have to establish it first. Come on.
Yes, so, and from what I'm hearing, to me, it also means that you have to have patience and tolerance to be able to weather it, to be able to
That's right.
get past that wall. And you have to have a sense of, you have to be able to see in others what you see in yourself and what you want for yourself. I can give an example of, there's several people that I work around and work with that it seemed like it took years just to become on friendly terms with them. There was one woman in particular who I would speak to her every single day because we worked like a couple of desks apart. And I especially try to make it a point, because of the environment I work in, I try to especially make it a point to speak to all the Asiatics that I see, because we are greatly in the minority where I work. And she had found something that she just didn't like about me. I had no clue what it is or why. And she would never speak back. but I had seen her interact with other people. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask her, what is it? What have I done? Why is it that you just, can't even speak when I speak to you? And she said that one day I had not spoken to her when she spoke to me. And I asked her, I said, well, did it ever occur to you that maybe I just didn't hear you? Or that I might have been having a bad day? And she had no response to that. I said, just from one time while speaking to you, you decided you don't like me? But then after that conversation, she still didn't speak. But she said, no, you never did anything to me, it was just that. But then her mother passed, and I sent her a sympathy card. And I don't think anybody else did, but I just felt, I still want this woman to know. And I sent her a sympathy card. And it was like she was taken aback. It was like, why did you give me that? Why? But then after that, she started speaking. It's like, sometimes I'm finding that we just have to have patience. And we just have to, like the brother you said, we have to think beyond when we can't see beyond.
That's right.
That there's more to it than what I'm seeing.
That's right.
And, keep on plugging at it, because that's what Allah said I'm supposed to do. Even if they don't do it, I'm supposed to do it. And sometimes it hurts. It's like when you don't get that hello, good morning back, it's like, dang, but you just keep on doing it.
Right. Praise the Lord.
Yeah. Come on, Mark, can I ask you a question?
In regards to this one thing that we say, or help me understand, when they say to the proud and the arrogant, have no obligation.
No, to the selfish and avaricious.
Have no obligation.
Now, for you to understand that, you have to know what avaricious means. You have to know what avaricious is. And listen what it's doing. Listen to the selfish and avaricious.
Greed for money.
Not only for money, but for anything. Because he's what? Selfish. And greedy. So you don't want to be obligated to a situation like that. My brother.
Akin with friendship
Yes.
is one of the things that we want to look at that Allah has shown us that He does for us.
Yes.
Is care.
Yes.
Caring.
Yes.
And I heard that in Sister Jones' discussion.
Yes.
What constantly made her be concerned about the sister that she was making reference to, and the reason she gave, or possibly why she gave the sympathy card, because she cared. When you're talking about friendship, you gotta care about people.
That's right.
Caring is one of the key components of making a friend.
Yeah.
Because like you discussed earlier, they might not even be ready for it.
Yep.
They may have put that wall up so thick, and it's a defense mechanism in most cases, because we're not used to it.
Right. That's right.
But we got to show that we care in spite of that.
That's right.
Uplifting forward humanity got to break down the walls.
That's right.
Caring is one of the key components to being able to become a friend. Because you won't give in just because they don't see it right now.
That's right. That's right. That's right. See, friendship is something that you have to pay attention to, because without it in here, it's going to be very difficult to perform the task that we have been called to do.
That's right. Better believe it.
It's going to be very difficult unless we learn how to be a friend.
That's right.
Now, I can be your friend, and you can be mine, but there may be a degree of friendship that I am with you. Because remember, I'm still learning too. So if I hit a point, okay, now I'll be friends, but I ain't asked you to come and spend the night. I asked you to come over my house. You know what I mean? But we all right. That is a degree that's developing. See, friendship does not cease. It is a continued process.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
It's not just a friend. No. Friendship goes deeper than that. It goes, there are layers and degrees. Wait a minute. Let's see. Yes, sir. Fear.
Over the years, I met certain people that I haven't known for a long time, but like the friends I've been knowing all my life, I'm more of a friend to the friends I just met,
Right.
than the ones I have been knowing all my life, because some people have a certain facade.
Right.
They want you to see a certain thing until they see the real person that you really are.
Right.
Until they find out who you are,
Right.
then they'll start to open up.
Right.
You know, they start to want a little more to you.
Right.
When they see and try to have an understanding of you,
Right.
or try to see who you are.
Right.
So when you still, like you say, you're trying to find out who you are yourself.
Right.
So that's this revolving door in life.
Right.
How we go like the faith we're going through now.
Right.
We all trying to be a friend to or kin to each other.
Right.
But we got to learn how to grow a pace within ourselves.
Right.
So it's a lifetime study.
Right.
So.
Right. Right. Please, that's good. Come on, Sister Gaither.
Yes, last year I had a situation where, I'm gonna say this person had gave out false information on me.
Right.
And the young lady didn't accept it. She
Right.
said, this is not how I see Sister Gabrielle.
Praise the Lord.
So I'm
Okay.
going to confront her and find out, did she say
Right.
what was said?
Right.
She said, but it didn't sound like me.
Right.
So when she confronted me, she found out it was not true.
Right.
Then the person round and said, he didn't mean it the way she
That's
took
it.
it.
Right.
He-
Right.
And it made me feel good that she respected me enough to ask me.
Right.
Cause she could have kept rocks in her drawers or something,
Right.
but she didn't.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Come on.
Islam, I think the more the relations, or the deeper the relations, the more the friendship. In other words, like the example you use, you may not let me spend the night over your house, but you may let brother so-and-so spend the night.
Right.
And that's contingent on y'all relation.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean?
You know, some people are easier than others. Some people are much more, they pull you in more so than others. You know, I mean, all friendships are not developed in the same way. Some friendships are developed and you don't start off being friends all the time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why you have to really be dedicated to friendship. Because if you're not, a potential friend can be turned off. Or you can put up a wall to a potential friend, for real.
Right.
So you have to be dedicated to friendship. You have to learn what it is. You can't take for granted that you know what it is. The world's friendship is, do this for me, I do that for you. We're your friends. But then you see how shaky it is when you stop doing it.
So what I'm hearing, when expectations is involved, it hinders a
Of
friendship.
course, of course,
You gotta exclude the expectation.
of course,
Well said.
of course.
Yes.
And that's the word that I would have liked to have said.
Yes. Yes.
That's a good word. Expectation. That's good. Okay. Did Jesus say that he would return to conquer him?
Yes.
Who was he talking about? I can ask you this. Look, wait a minute. Hold on. So I don't ask you in the way that it's used to being asked. All of a sudden it's different when I ask you in a different way. But truth don't change. It don't change. It's the truth. You don't have to feel uncertain, regardless of how it's asked, if you recognize the question. Of course, if you don't recognize the question, then don't say anything. But if you recognize the question, if you hear something similar in the question, the truth is the same. It's not going to change on you. So did he say you will return to conquer him?
Yes.
Who is he talking about?
Satan.
I mean, what's complicated? Don't lose confidence in what you've been coming in all these Sundays to establish. A consistency. A consistent way of responding to questions. Come on.
Yes, Mom.
Yes.
You know, that's a broad statement in reference to that question. Father, Satan.
Yes.
Because that can cover a whole lot.
It's no question.
You know what I mean?
It's no question.
And for me, where I'm at the moment with that,
Right.
is the particular system that was in place.
Right.
When he was on the scene.
Still Satan.
Yeah.
The truth don't change. It's still Satan. Because you know what's bred. You know what he breeds. So it doesn't matter where you find yourself, what is being bred. If you know it's hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms, it's Satan.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on.
Even if it's in you.
It's really in you.
You know, because see, one thing about it is I often think sometimes, look outwardly.
Yes.
Because he was coming to show the possibility of man.
Yes.
And he had to conquer that.
Yes.
To let us know that it can be conquered.
Yes.
So even though, and like you say, it's broad.
Yes.
Because the concept was broad.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, but we don't never want to lose focus that he also talking about how he conquered Satan within himself.
Oh, he asked, where you going?
There you go. See, that's what we want to
He
focus
talked
on.
to himself.
That's what we're talking about.
What did the higher self say to the lower self when he met him?
Where are you going, Satan?
You meet him,
Yeah, there you go.
and you ask yourself, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What's this about?
Yeah.
Who you think you talking to?
Yeah.
So, I use it.
You talking to Satan and you.
That's right.
Come on.
My brother.
Islam.
Yes, sir.
And you went yourself early on, right on this point. Identification.
Yes.
See, it doesn't matter where Satan show up at.
Doesn't matter.
Or who he show up in.
That's right.
You first identify it in you, then when you see it, you know it exists everywhere.
That's right. That's right. See, you don't want to feed it. See, you know, we feed it. We can feed Satan. See, Satan can manifest in flesh, and he can manifest in flesh, and we feed it.
That's right.
And then when we feed it, we get a certain response that we may not even be ready for. But that's the confrontation with yourself. You meet yourself on the field of battle, and yourself is disguised in another manifestation. You know why? To take your attention from you to them. Remember, the thought is unmanifested until it manifests, but it's still the thought. That means you got to meet that thought in thought. That's how you meet it. You don't meet it outside in response by a certain behavior that's represented by a certain action that you take. See, once that's outside, you already lost the battle anyway.
Right.
Your job is to keep it in.
Yeah.
And identify. And see, look, now your words have power. Where you going with that, Satan?
Yeah.
What you doing now?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Come on.
Islam. I was thinking something Brother Love Bill said years ago.
Yeah.
He told me, he said, well, when you see one devil, don't make it two.
Yeah.
Right? So just because I
Yes.
see it, don't mean I have to respond with mine.
No.
So that's for me, the lesson in it that I'm learning.
Yes.
That I don't have to activate my devil because
No.
I see somebody in their low self.
No.
Because most of the time, that's how I respond. Oh, you
Yeah.
coming at me like that? I'm
Yeah.
coming at you like
Sure,
that.
sure, Mo.
So I have to learn that that's not how you respond.
No, Mo.
That's not how you, because the prophet said this is an intelligent.
That's right.
So I have to respond with intelligence.
That's right. That's can you respond as a representative of the principles that you should have established unto yourself? You do not set aside your principles to respond in an unprincipled way. What's the advantage in having principles?
That's why he say ever act according to it.
That's what he said.
And dare not to sin.
To evil or to meanness. That's what he's saying.
Yes,
Yes, brother.
I was thinking earlier when you was talking about sometimes we feed it.
Yes.
Talking about the devil, the Lord
Yes,
self.
yes.
And I was thinking about the saying that we say, don't feed into that.
Yes.
Because when you feed into, you feed it.
Yes.
And it grows.
Yes.
So we learn in the temple, don't feed it.
Right.
Starve its nourishment.
Yes.
And it'll dissipate.
Yes. Yes.
Raise up.
Because remember, the nourishment that you give it enables it to breathe.
Right.
Then it starts breathing. Come on.
But and you know, and Brother Leader, I think you said it, and Brother Chase, both said identifying it. It's very important.
Yeah.
See, we gotta be able to identify, and the way we identify, we gotta remind ourselves what it breeds.
Yes.
And see that it does not go. Hatred is not going to have a side state. It's hatred.
Right.
So you gotta go beyond the word.
Right.
And get some form of concept of what hatred is.
Right.
You know, enviness is not going to be said, I'm envy.
Right.
It's going to be camouflage.
Right.
But with guidance, he may show you that you're dealing with something that you may not be able to put the name to it, but it's an uncertainty about it.
Right.
So you want to be careful.
Right.
Until you can really identify it.
Right.
Because it's not going to come with no sign said, I hate.
Right.
If that don't work, he don't work like that.
Right.
You know, it's coming with a sign saying, these apples.
Right.
They're apples.
Right.
And are lovely.
Right.
And they're gonna make it look like everything all right. Ain't nothing wrong with the way you act.
Right.
But that's when you say you gotta go back and examine.
Right.
But to go back and examine, you gotta have something you examine it with.
Right.
And one thing that I often think about is everything that harms.
Right. That's right.
See, it's only one way man can be produced, but 1,000 in which he can be destroyed.
That's right.
See, we may not even really understand all the pitfalls and things that can really destroy man.
Right.
Because Allah has protected us from it, but it's out there.
Right.
So when it comes to something that can harm, we got to be real careful because he said everything.
That's what he said. And that's what you need to pay particular attention to. Everything.
Everything.
You can say things.
Come on, man.
Out of your mouth.
Come on.
Then come back and say, I didn't mean it. But it's already done harm. You done threw it out, now you're trying to pull it. I didn't mean to say that. Please forgive me. But you done threw it out there. Now, with your state of mind that caused you to utter it in the first place, you feed it. Once it's out, you're still thinking like that, and even though it's out, you're still sending it nourishment, because that's how you think. So it may be out there, but it's receiving nourishment from the way you think, because you are its source.
Right.
And it must return to the source from which it came. So you still feeding it. It might have been directed at you, at an individual, but you throw it out there, man. It'll bypass it. It'll hit the individual, but it'll keep on going. Come on.
No, sir. So what would be the reparation for that?
What did he tell you to do? Do you know how to do that?
Well, I mean, it's...
What do you think making a speedy reparation consists of?
Well, I mean, upon the reparation, I mean, you look for some forgiveness.
Okay, so all right. And that must be done how? It is done in thought, no question. But it's a certain, he said, if you ask for forgiveness, right? Speak in what?
Sincerity.
And you will hear instruction. So therefore you will be instructed how to address it. Let's go to chapter 39 in the Holy Quran. Chapter 39, of course, is holy instructions from the prophet, pinnacle of wisdom. As the eye of the morning to the lark, as the shade of the evening to the owl, as honey to the bee, or as the carcass to the vulture, even such is life unto the heart of man. Though bright, it dazzleth not. Though obscure, it displeaseth not. Though sweet, it cloyeth not. Though corrupt, it forbiddeth not. Yet who is he that knoweth its true value? Learn to esteem as thou ought. Then art thou near the pinnacle of wisdom. Think not with the fool that nothing is more valuable, nor believe with the pretended wise that thou oughtest to condemn it. Love it not thyself, but for the good it may be of to others. Gold cannot buy it for thee, neither mines of diamonds purchase back the moment thou hast now lost it. Employ the succeeding ones in virtue. Say not that it were best not to have been born, or if born, that it has been best to die early. Neither dare thou to ask of thy Creator, where has been the evil, had I not existed. Good is thy power. The want of good is evil. And if thy question be just, lo, it condemneth thee. Would the fish swallow the bait if he knew the hook were hidden therein? Would the lion enter the toils if he saw they were prepared for him? So neither were the soul to perish with this clay, neither would a merciful Father have created him. No, hence thou shalt live afterwards. Let me ask you something. In all this that we're speaking of, it consists in what?
Life.
Life, right. And life it operates in what? Series.
Moments.
Thank you. A series of moments.
Degrees.
Yeah. And a series of moments, degrees of life are experienced. In moments, degrees of life are experienced. Your experiences are solely dependent on what you make. The choices you make. The choices I make have is a determining factor on what I will experience. So if I make choices that's akin to what? And that's akin to what? Two cells. So if I make a choice that's solely akin to my lower self, then the moment will have the experiences of what? The lower self. And what it breeds. That means I will experience hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. I will have a miserable life. A life of misery.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that might not happen like right away, right? Because we're looking at it.
Did he say?
No, the reason why I asked that
Yes.
is if you consistent in, say, you got to be in Rome, then you building up something. It's a process.
Remember, a series of events.
Yes.
Building up to it.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It's a series of events. And it's done, of course, in moments. So, in each moment that we are allowed to exist, we should do what?
Use reverse.
After employ the virtue comes after your what? After your examination. After the examination. Meaning you got to take a look at who? Self. You got to constantly be looking at yourself. Because on your present choice will depend what? So that means you got to be looking at the choices you're making. Because in this choice, in this moment, I make this choice based on that challenge. And if I make the wrong choice, my future is going to be affected by the choice I make at this moment.
Yes.
Man creates his own future. in the present moment by the choices he makes. Come on.
Yes, sir. It's and we basically make our choices by the way we think.
Yes. 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 Because you only have two things in the moment. The choice you make and the choice you don't. It ain't but two. It ain't but two.
That's right, man.
You either do or you don't.
Listen.
Yeah.
It ain't but two. You don't have no middle choice.
No.
But the determined choice you make out of the two
Is the one that is the thoughts that you're most influenced by. The ones you fed. Yes.
It's not. He said that nothing can be just when you see of nothing.
That's right.
Because sometimes, and I've experienced a whole lot.
Right.
I made decisions based on how something made me feel.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And a lot of times, when something makes me feel uncomfortable,
Sure.
angry,
Sure.
I make a choice.
Sure.
And it might not be the best choice,
Sure.
but because I'm angry,
Yes.
I made the choice.
Yes. Yes.
So a lot of times, how you feel, you gotta pay attention.
It's
to
no
how you
question.
feel.
It's no look. But what's making you feel like that? But the way you're thinking. You feel like that as a result of the thoughts you're holding.
That's why Jesus said, away from me.
That's what he said.
Tempting thoughts.
So you got to examine the heart, because the heart is what houses your thinking or your thoughts. You have to examine that heart. Because if you don't examine it, thoughts are in there that you may respond to. Because that's the way they make you feel.
Yeah, better believe it.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about what you were saying about the two in the process.
Yes.
And then in those two, there's promptings.
Yes. Yes.
See, you gotta keep in mind there are promptings in those two.
Babe. But what urge you, babe?
You're inconscious.
That's right.
And
Nature.
Nature urges you.
That's right.
And then you look at the weaknesses
Yes.
that we're dealing with within that side ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
That's why it's very important that we try to gain control over some of these
Yes.
things, because they're gonna play a major part
Yes.
in the choice that we make.
Yes.
We can't just ignore those weaknesses.
Yes.
Because when it comes to those decisions, them challenges,
Yes.
those weaknesses gonna flare up
Yes.
to help shape your decision making.
Yes. Yes.
If you don't have no control over it or gain some control over it, it's easily can have you impulsively move.
Yeah, that's right.
And but the consequences you still gotta deal
We
with.
got to deal with. That's right. That's right.
Cause that's your choice.
That's right. You know, one of the most effective tools of the devil during those moments of our making certain choices. You know what one of the most one of his major tools of operation to get you to. You know what that is? Irrationality. Yeah, but you know where it comes from? You know what? No, but this is what he does. You putting the blame on someone else.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
See, as long as you can blame someone else, you're comfortable with making a choice based on what you think someone else caused you to do.
Mm-hmm.
What about guilt?
Yeah. But you know, there are instruments that he uses to make you feel guilt.
Okay.
Yes.
This week, I wasn't able to move around. The brother decided he wanted to save his back.
Right.
So he decided he wasn't going to help me down the steps.
He didn't do that. Don't say that. Do not say that, Phil. Look.
He said, he was looking sad because he said, I got to save my back.
Yeah.
So I started laughing, and he said, what's funny? I said, well, go get a sheet. You made the right decision to save your back.
Right.
But he still had me bouncing down the steps.
Hey, Phil,
But he saved his back.
Look. But that's when you need to learn to accommodate yourself to all.
Yeah.
Bounce. But I hear you. I hear you. Okay, refocus. Okay, look, 8. As the bird enclosed in a cage before he seeth it, yet teareth not his flesh against its sides. Now what does that tell you about you? Yeah, be content, but what does it tell you? What does it tell you? But see, being content does not always mean you accept the state.
Right.
But what does that tell you?
You being receptive.
Listen, as the bird enclosed in the cage before he seeth it, yet turns not his flesh against its sides. What does that tell you? About you, about us.
Sometimes you don't know.
You're unprepared for it. You're prepared for it. You want to accept it?
I just told you earlier, but y'all didn't pay attention. Learn to accommodate yourself with all.
Right.
Because there are situations that you will walk into that you don't even know you have created for yourself. And when you find yourself in certain conditions, you don't yield to the condition. Whatever has been made, the condition can be what? As long as you do what? Think. Think what?
That it can be.
That your condition
Can be better.
You have to use your reason.
You must use the reason. Because if without it, nothing can be just. You have to use reason when you find yourself. See, look, we've created things that just because we have not been confronted with them, does not mean that we're not going to have to receive an experience from them.
Exactly.
Even though we are trying to do what's right now. Now, of course, if you're trying to do what's right and you've been somewhat consistent in it, then that particular condition that we're going to have to experience when we're in a state of ignorance won't be as severe. But it still has to come to fruition because it is what you made. Now, the question is, once you enter into a condition like that, you must do what?
That's being a reparation.
Yes, make a reparation. But see, you've already made a reparation. That's why you're striving now at this point. But you still have the condition. If you enter into the condition, the only way for you to control the situation is to use what? Your reason.
Yeah.
And let it play itself out.
That's right.
Don't get, don't panic.
There you go, baby. That's real.
Don't panic.
That's real.
Yeah.
Islam, that reminded me of, I was looking at a movie one time before, I think Bruce Lee may have played in it. And when he came into a condition, I think the walls and all that was closing.
That's
and
in the dragon.
he couldn't get out. All he did was
Yeah.
took a seat
Yeah.
That's right.
and just calmed himself.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And I guess probably just got his thoughts together or whatever.
That's
and,
right.
Just I guess he was trying to recognize and deal with the condition.
That's right.
Instead of, and like you said, instead of panicking.
That's right.
When the walls start closing in and everything, most of the time people gonna panic.
That's right.
Instead of just having, he took a seat.
That's right.
And then I said, wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's a lot of times what we have to do because you know what? In panic, we make it worse.
You better believe it. The thought is,
Champ, being in the ring, if you're in the ring and all of a sudden your opponent is starting to sting you a couple of times. He's starting to hit you with that jab is just hitting you. Bam, 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 bam. Now if you, if you panic, you lose the fight. But if you can hold, you may be able to figure out how to duck or slip or slide. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the key in life is learn how to make the adjustments.
praise God.
Learn to adjust.
Practice.
You got to practice more.
Yeah. You got to have a plan.
You got to have a plan. This is your practice and this is your plan.
Yes.
Go ahead, Brother McGee.
Oh, no.
Okay. Come on, Mom.
That was just referring back to what Brother Green Bay was saying about the movie, right?
Yeah.
Because when he dropped him down the hole, his opponent that he was trying to fight said, "You are a worthy opponent." That's when he sat down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Read.
You saw the movie, huh?
Yeah.
Come on, come on here.
And I think this is one of our key things that the prophet has done for us.
Yes.
As he talked about choice.
Yes.
One of the good things that he's done for us is start to have us to think.
Yes.
And our identifying that there's only two.
That's right.
There's only two.
That's right.
And the result of your choice is only going to be one or two things.
And one or two things. That's right.
Heaven or hell.
That's right.
Come on.
See, we ain't creating nothing else. We either creating heaven or we're creating hell.
That's right.
And knowing that there's only one of the two things that you're creating, whether you meet it right then or not,
Right.
you know you've created some hell.
Right.
That when we start to reason and start to see the lessons of the Lord, brother, we'll know that's something I'm gonna have to deal with.
Yeah. Yep.
Not today, tomorrow.
Yep. But you gotta deal.
But I know I gotta deal with that hell I created, even though now I'm trying to turn my life around.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
See, some of the things that we've done, and
right.
he's trying to bring to our remembrance and through our practice and learning these teachers that we created some stuff
Yeah, we have.
before we got here.
Yeah, we have.
We still created some stuff, and
Yeah,
he
we
said
do.
something important. We put some stuff out there, and we still feeding some of that stuff.
Yeah, we are.
We giving some of that stuff some energy.
Yeah.
He's trying to teach us how to cut that off and suppress those tendencies.
Yes.
That's going to keep putting you in hell.
That's right. That's
By
right.
replacing it with higher thought.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
No, come on.
You know, they got reparation
Yes.
this weekend or something. This week,
Right.
I'm having to see on the news
Right.
about, they mentioned one of the caged birds sank
Right.
in reference to similar like what the prophet said just in that verse,
Right.
right?
Right.
In reference to that's how we made it through slavery.
Right.
And it's very interesting where, you know, I came to the conclusion that's how we made it through slavery.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the case, it made reference to that we didn't
Tear our flesh.
tear our flesh.
That's right. That's right, Mom. That's right. We had to learn to what? So we can, and when you learn how to accommodate, you give the opportunity for what?
Reason.
Yeah, but you give the opportunity for what?
Heaven to manifest.
Yes, you do.
Adjustments to be made.
Huh?
Adjustments to be made.
Adjustments to be made and the condition to change.
Right.
Because when the ethers change, so you gotta give it an opportunity so that the condition can become more favorable.
That's like saying, don't leave before the miracle.
Exactly. Because remember, while you're in the condition, you're creating another condition. The condition that you're creating can be an extension of the one you're in, or it can be one totally different. That's based on your reason. You can reason, using your reason, you can change the condition within the condition. You see what I'm saying? But you gotta do it from where? Within. There you go. That's right. Come on, Mom.
And you don't expect immediate gratification.
Right.
See, sometimes we
Right.
find ourselves in situations and we want it to change
Right away.
speed of light.
Right.
It may not be that way.
But see, that's big faith. Forgive me for cutting. But look, that's the illusion.
More I'm telling you.
Because there are changes made the minute you change the way you think.
Yes.
Because you don't see it.
But see, if you still yourself, you will see it.
That's what I'm saying, brother.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't even realize.
That's right, that
we're
a change-
doing it.
that's
Because
right.
see, we want to see the manifestation of
That's
the change.
right, that's
But
right.
the process is, you know, we may not be at the manifestation. We may just be at first base
Right.
to the manifestation.
Right.
But patience
Right.
will allow us to get to the manifestation.
Right.
But sometimes we are impatient, and I'm speaking about me. I've seen me do that.
Right.
And I'll be impatient. That's all, man. I got to go another route.
That's right, that's right,
I
that's
mean,
right.
and a lot of times another route is worse than the route I was
That's
in.
right. Because look, babe, look at the condition. You're in it, right? All of a sudden, you lack patience.
Yes.
Now, if I say, well, what I'm going to do, I got to leave it. I got to do this.
Right.
Now you're compounding the condition that you're entering into because the decision that you're making to go into that condition is irrational.
I hear you, sir.
Now you might be neglecting your present.
You are, because that's still there. You're leaving that there and going over here,
Right.
creating another condition equivalent to the condition that you're leaving. So now you find yourself in real hell.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
You're really in hell now. Because now you get over there and you get baffled. Now, how am I going to get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're ready for the tempter. Well, if you do this, you'll get out of that. And now you ain't thinking, you ain't reasoning, so you accept from the hand of the proud. Who is selfish and avaricious. Come on.
Islam, sir, you gotta also have some attentive with that patient.
Yes. Yes. And what have you been? What have you been attentive? I think attentive.
Yeah, attentive.
Yeah.
Attention is the valid. That's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah. That's right. Attention.
Attentiveness.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Attentiveness.
Yes.
I mean, you was in the ballpark. But I just think that's the word. You know how you just came up with that strong word a little while ago? Okay.
See, good. You, my brothers and sisters, got my back.
Ain't no question. You know, no, and it's good that we understand your language.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? Because see, if you weren't in the ballpark, we'd be saying, what is he saying? You know? Yeah. So anyway, it says this here. It says, so neither labor thou vainly to run the state thou art in, but know it is allotted thee. Why is it allotted?
Because
You chose it.
Right. Reading what you put your hand on.
You're getting exactly what your hand called. Yeah.
You create.
You created.
You created it.
That's the seed that you sowed.
And the maker, whatever has been made, will be unmade by the one who made it.
Right.
See, can't nobody unmake a situation for you. A situation is unmade with the gift of the understanding that is granted to you from your beseeching to the Creator who knows all. He'll give you the understanding of how to figure it out. When you ask him what?
Sincerity.
You will hear with the guidance doctrine. He'll say, now look, do this. Don't do that. It'll speak to you just like we're speaking now. It'll talk you, it'll walk you through it. It'll take you by the hand and walk you out of the condition that you previously looked at and say, man, how am I get out of this? And he'll take you and he'll walk you right through it. And you start seeing things fall right in your face. And that works.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You see, it's not that it doesn't work. It only fails to work if you what?
Don't apply.
Don't apply it. Nothing wrong with this. You may not do it or use it, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. And if you do use it and it doesn't work, it's only because of your misapplication of it. See, sometimes people don't want to work it until they get into a jam, but the whole time before they get into the jam, they ain't working it at all.
And it shouldn't work.
But all of a sudden now, it got to work for them. You don't know the language, you don't know the words to speak, you don't know nothing. Yes.
That's like if you on a basketball team.
Right.
You ain't been practicing.
Right.
You ain't been coming to practice, and then they throw you in the game out of nowhere.
That's right. And look,
You're not ready.
and the ball is in your hand with the last few seconds.
You ain't ready. You fumbling.
I don't know whether to pass, to shoot, to dribble, I don't know nothing. So what happens, you hold it and time runs out. The end of time. And you're left holding the ball.
He lost the game and sold the team.
The game for you in this era is over. Come on, Mark.
I was thinking about when we was talking about making choices.
Yes.
And there's only two, heaven or hell.
Yes.
I also learned that sometimes you don't make a choice, and you still making a choice by silent consent.
Of course.
If you don't choose heaven, You choosing here.
That's right.
Silent consent.
That's right. That's right. Here, look. You will or you will not.
That's it.
If I will do it or I will not do it. Ain't but two.
That's your choice.
And that's the choice. Yes.
Islam, you don't find out that struggle is good.
Yes.
Struggle is a benefit that reveals itself.
Yes.
I'm finding out in those conditions that I find myself in, that's unfavorable.
Yes.
Even though I know I created for myself or not,
Yes.
the struggle is good. So it gives me a chance to take a deeper look at where I'm at.
Yes.
Hoping not to repeat that.
Yes. Yes.
The good in that, I find that I work myself through it.
Yes. Yes. But you know, struggle is good. But even in struggle, too frequent repetition becomes tiresome.
Yes.
Get tired of doing it over and over and over again. And I'm not learning. It becomes tiresome. So you, at some point, the struggle has to it has to be some kind of reward in the struggle to let me know that I don't have to struggle. If I just employ that which will help to eliminate it. Because there is an elimination for that struggle. Not saying that you're going to have another struggle.
Yeah.
But that one I ain't got to keep on going to.
That's why I say I work myself too.
Yeah.
That's the good in it.
Yeah, it's good.
I work myself, I worked it out.
Yeah, you worked it out. You worked it out. Yeah. Come on.
You know, one thing I was thinking when you were saying that, because you gotta remember, we in love with animals.
Yes.
See, we can't forget that. So we love that.
Yes.
I mean, and we gotta learn how to not continue to create it for ourselves.
Right.
Because we can be in love with it.
That's right.
You know, so we gotta be careful with that. That can be used to our disadvantage.
That's right. That's right. Okay, look. It says, so neither labor thou vainly to run the state thou art in, but know it is allotted thee, and be content with it. Now, though its ways are uneven, they are what?
Not painful.
What ways? The ways of life. So we already know that life is what? Uneven. Why is it uneven? Because truth and falsehood are high and low. And it is strangely what? Mixed. And it affects our what? Thinking. And when it affects our thinking, that thinking has a profound impact on our what? Yes, but before that, what?
Choice.
Choices you make.
Choices you make. The choices you make. Sometimes we make a bad call. You know, yesterday I made a good call. Had a good day. The day I made a bad call. Uneven.
Sure.
See, but we're striving to be what?
Consistent.
Yes. And what?
That which is right.
That's good. That's where I'll stop. Peace.
Peace.
Praise God.
Islam. I'd like to thank our Grand Chief, who is the moderator of the Moorish Science of America, for allowing us to play for instructions. For class, for instructions, I'd like to thank you all for your participation. I pray the Lord that we had a good Sunday school, that we all got some out of it. That raised our thoughts, raised our thinking a bit more than what we had before. With that being said, I'm going to call forth the Assistant Grand Governor of Washington, D.C., Brother Chike Hill, to read the warning. Can we see our movement and give him your advice?
Islam.
first rise to give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe, and I give honor to the holy and divine prophet Noble Jew Ali, and I give honor to each and every one of you. It's a great day, Morris.
Yes, sir.
The prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans and cause confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, but cease wearing their turban or fez and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of prophet Noble Jew Ali. Peace.
Peace.